Today is Indomitus unboxing day. Hello! So today we're going to be unboxing the releases from 9th edition Indomitus. So we have the new chapter approved, combat gauge, objective set, open war missions, crusade journal, the bonus objective tokens that come when you pre-ordered from Games Workshop, and of course the Indomitus box. So we'll save the best for last, obviously. Let's get started. Let's start with chapter approved. So the first thing you might notice about this, straight off the bat, is that it's a lot smaller. It's kind of, I think, A5 sized. The Grand Tournament book with the missions is spiral bound as well, which is different. So if you compare that to, let's compare that with a normal codex in terms of sizing. We've got a bit smaller than usual Games Workshop style books, but I guess if you're going to be carrying this around with you, you're going to be referring to it, it's quite useful actually being in a smaller size. Let's see, hopefully it doesn't mean that the text is really tiny. So let's take a look at the format. So we've got the two books, the munitorium field manual in a sort of standard paperback format. It's pretty small font, so you're gonna have good eyesight for that one. I don't know. I mean, if I was suspicious, I could suggest that this is due to wanting people to use the app more, but I don't know. It's pretty hard to read. Then we've got chapter approved. So this is very different, being in this kind of spiral bound format. And it looks like we've got an explanation of Grand Tournament games, how all the point scoring works, and so on. Different missions, which is quite cool. I like and I don't like the format of it being spiral bound, because my concern would be it ripping, but it's also it feels quite usable at the same time. I guess one big advantage, if you've got those kind of tags that you can put into a spiral bound book, you can put those little markers in so you can easily flip between different things. But this gives you the basic rules as well that you'll see in the basic rulebook PDF. So it's got you the full terrain information, it's got some rare rules, it's got this really nice glossary. But again, if you look at the font size on that, it's really small. We're talking really, I mean, I would personally struggle to read. I'd have to hold that closer than I normally would because of that font size. Let's compare. I'm just going to open up a page of the Ultramarines book. You can see the difference here with it side by side in terms of that text size. This is a lot smaller, but personally I find it a lot harder to read. This is kind of a comfortable size for me. This is something I can easily refer to. This, I mean, I'm maybe an older dude, but I'm going to have to hold that closer. So I get why it's a smaller form factor. I would have liked it. It wouldn't have hurt to make that a little thicker, and then you can have a bigger font. But it is what it is. What should we do next? Let's check out the Crusade journal. So this is entirely optional. It lets you keep track of your Crusade army if you're playing in Crusade mode. I'm expecting just formatted pages essentially. Yeah, so you've got, in this case, it's more readable in terms of size. It's like a handwritten style font, which is kind of cool. But it's all the same pages throughout. So this is nice. It's kind of feels like a fake leather. It's embossed there, embossed on the spine, so it's a nice little way of tracking your crusade armies as they progress. Inside cover print's kind of heretical. I don't mind that. The combat gauge. Again, both this and the journal I decided to get just as, a treat for myself. It's not something you need. I actually already have a different combat gauge, but I like the look of this one. I like the style of it. So we've got, the good thing, so I thought this was a little overpriced, but the good thing I'll say about it is solid metal, which is kind of cool. It doesn't actually have any inch references on it, but you go by these markings. So you've got a 1-inch side, there's a 2-inch side, there's a 3-inch side, and then, surprisingly, a 5-inch side. I was expecting this to be a 4-inch side. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can do 1, 2, 3, and 5. And obviously, if you need to do, say, 4, you can do just part of that. I like it. It's solid. My other combat gauge is plastic. It's a rigid plastic, so it feels more breakable. This, I'd be quite happy just chucking this in a bag, not worrying about it, knowing I've got it ready, able to drop it on the tabletop. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Unnecessary plastic packaging, but otherwise good. So what have we got next? So these are the open war cards. These are the mission packs. So these are the rules for playing an open war game. 9 objective cards, 12 deployment cards, 18 twist cards. So that's something that wasn't in 8th edition. I don't think we had deployment cards either, obviously. 6 sudden death cards, 6 ruse cards, and 1 folded reference card. So I don't know how much people will be using these cards. I definitely liked the objective cards that were around with 8th edition, but I don't believe they were used that much. I think maybe that was the whole ITC split where people were using, if you're using ITC rules, obviously you didn't use the mission decks. But this is the card format, so you've got the same picture on the back of all of them. They're quite clear, quite readable. I like this. I really like these deployment zone cards. They're quite cool. So they outline the different deployment zones from the rulebook. You got some twists to add additional rules, so things like, let's take a look at null zone. Subtract 2 from psychic tests. You cannot re-roll any dice when taking psychic tests. Oh, cool. So it's a nice little change up. I don't know, I haven't been through the rulebook yet, so I don't know how these apply, if these just occur for the whole battle, or if they're something that triggers based on certain rounds or certain things being achieved. But, it's quite an interesting looking deck. Cards are kind of similar format to what we had before in terms of sizing, etc. for the objective cards. So they look cool. The last one before we get into the big box, I picked up the objective set. So the reason I picked this up is I'm getting the Necrons with the Indomitus, and I like some of these Necron objectives. I'm actually probably not going to use them as objectives, partly because I got the objective markers, but I am probably going to add them to a piece of terrain. So let's take a look. I'm figuring we've got a 2 sprue situation, which we do. So you got that sprue, which is pretty straightforward, and then you've got the second sprue, which is more the, if we look at that, it's more the Imperial side. So it looks like they've split the Imperial and Necron objectives into 2 blocks. We've got bases for each of the objective markers. This is an improvement because I think the previous objective sets that I saw, at least, didn't come with a base. Standard build instructions, no special rules for them, so objectives, they're not terrain. But I'm fairly happy with those. Pretty happy with the quality and the detail level. They're not the most detailed things in the world compared to some other Games Workshop objectives. The Indomitus box next, but I thought we'd look first at the pre-order bonus. So if you got pre-ordered directly from Games Workshop, which I had to do because my preferred hobby shop was sold out, you got these bonus items. So you get this nice Warhammer 40,000 bag. Actually, I really quite like. There's a nice little effect. You can use that for a dice bag or whatever, or a small dice bag. And then you get these objective markers. Now, I'm guessing you're meant to take this plastic off because that looks pretty naff. The bonus token. So, yeah, there's a bunch of things you could use that for, I suppose. You could use it for tracking whose turn it was, maybe. I think you're going to forget that. So you've got an ultramarine side with, and they show no fear. It's kind of like a gloss coating on it. And then you've got our name is death, our number is legion on the Necron side. So a couple of classic slogans for each of those forces. It's a pretty cool little token. It's weighty. You know, once again, you know, not bad for free. Not something I would have necessarily wanted to buy, but I don't mind having it for free. This is it, the big guy. So, I think we've all seen what comes in this now. There was plenty of content that Games Workshop shared. I think they've done their own unboxing video, or at least an unboxing stream. I know other people will have got advanced copies, reviewers and all that kind of thing, so that, yeah, there's probably other videos you can watch. So I'll just do a quick zoom through this. I thought it was quite interesting to show you some of the other stuff. And that's why I put that front of the video. So we have got kind of protective piece of artwork on the front, double-sided, same stuff on both. And then we've got sprue, and I think we have a lot of sprue here. So that is your bikes, and it's quite interesting. They've gone with like a little single sprue here and a 2 sprue here. So this is there. Yeah, that's quite cool. I like that. So you got marine bikes, some assault marines, assault intercessors again. These look to be identical, so you get the same sprue twice for those ones. We got a character sprue, so these have been combined together, but you can see how these would easily be repackaged into blister packs for these characters. So you've got the sergeant, who looks like he has 3 head options, which is really nice. So you've got the open face grill, the closed face grill, and the bare head. So this is for your shield captain, the one the chap that can have the skeleton strapped to his shield. That's pretty cool. So there's the skeleton, and that's a base decorator of the smashed up Necron. And then you've got your big Necron boy. I'm not as familiar with the names of the Necron characters yet. I've had Marines before. I have Marine Army, but these are my first Necrons. I do actually have a Tesseract Vault, just because it was big and cool, but I haven't built it yet. But these guys are going to be the start of the Necron army. So you've got here, we're into Necrons now, so it looks like it's a little mixed up. So you've got some Necron warriors, lots of weapon options, so you can equip. My understanding is you can choose which weapon option you have for these guys. You've got enough for all of each. And you get the scarabs on that same sprue, so that's cool. And I think this is like a repeat again, so you've got 2 of that. Another Necron sprue, so this looks to be, I think this is one of the characters, and maybe this one's one of the characters too. This is another combined sprue, so you've got Necron character on this side, and then you've got your lieutenant on this side. So Primaris Lieutenant with an Iron Halo. I don't think the other ones have Iron Halos, you know. That's pretty cool. got, it looks like just a single head option for this guy, because that's a base decoration of a Necron skull. I like the thematicness of it, that they've got, a lot of the base decorations are from the opposing army. And we got this guy. So, big Necron sprue. It's one of those bigger constructs. And then we have this one, which is, you've got your banner bearer, 3 shield guard. I think you might have the Judicator on there as well, but I'm not sure. I can't see. Yeah, there's the giant sword, Judicia. So a mixture of characters and shield guard. Interesting that that's all on one sprue. So that obviously won't break down into character sprues. So I don't know if they're going to do a different sprue for that or what. Then we have our second set of protective stuff. Many building instructions. This is going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have fun with these guys. And this is our thematic Indomitus book. So this is like what we got with, say, Shadow Spear, or with 8th edition, although I think that was actually split out into multiple books. Then we have the rulebook. So that's a beast. We compare that to something like, what have we got handy? The Ultramarine supplement. So obviously that's a much smaller scale book. The weightiness of that is fantastic. And we've got lots of background, nice full color images. Oh, these are lovely. I like these little summaries of the different army lists. And then we crush through all of that, the nice little color images, and then we're into the rules. So about halfway through, we've got pages and pages of rules. Much nicer font. So it's more like the typical font sizing in here. So I can see the handbook being useful for sure, but you're going to want the full rule book. So there we are, full rule book, and then I think that pretty much covers it. So what else we got in here? There's a little lithograph thing. So that gives you, that's just a selling point for the Indomitus novel. Nice little QR code to get through to that. So just a little bit of marketing. And then we've got your transfer set. So you've got Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, and Dark Angels. So if you're an Iron Hands player or an Imperial Fist player, you're out of luck. Looks like it's just the Splinter chapters and the Ultramarines. There's some good ones on there. It's useful for me because I'm doing mine as Ultramarines. And then under here, which is quite nice, we've got the different bases. So you've got some big boy bases, some bike bases, and a mix of different bases here. It looks like a lot of them are going to be push fit, which is kind of cool. You typically only get that with these kind of boxes. Looks like they're going for square holes. Might give them a bit more grip. Don't know. But that's what we got. So that's exciting. The Indomitus box set. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. If you've got your own copies arriving, I hope you enjoy them. And now we can all crack on and start learning the rules for 9th edition. See you in the Grimdark.